Hey, welcome back. I'm Aspiring Spike. We have a brand new set of Magic cards to play with, and you know what that means. New brews. This is the first deck I've decided to work on, and this is 80 card Soulrider is what I'm calling it, named after Soulherder, Flickering Avalanche Rider. This is actually a deck I was playing a 60 card version of for a while over on twitch.tv/Aspiring Spike, and I thought this deck was pretty good, and it seemed like a pretty natural place to slot the new companion in, Yorion, the Sky Nomad, which is a very, very sweet card. Yorion is a 5-mana creature, and if your deck has 80 or more cards in the main deck, you can have this card as your companion, and you can cast it from your sideboard once a game, and that is incredibly, incredibly powerful in a deck full of into the battlefield creatures. And I found that adding the Yorion wasn't so difficult. I ended up adding, I believe, 8 lands, 4 Arcum's Astrolabe, the 3rd Wall of Blossoms, the 4th Eternal Witness, the 2nd Resto, and I added Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker and 4 Chord of Callings. And I find that these cards really slot well into the shell. Chord of Calling has always been a card that sometimes even likes to play 61, 62, 63 cards because you can't always fit in all of your tutor targets, and now with 80 cards you can. We have the 1-card combo of Chord of Calling, being able to get Eternal Witness, Chord of Calling, or Eternal Witness getting back Chord of Calling, then Chord of Calling for Restoration Angel, flickering Eternal Witness, getting the chord back, and then getting Kiki-Jiki and making Infinite Angels. I've been really, really happy with the deck. I am 21-4 with the deck. I streamed all of those matches over on twitch.tv/Aspiring Spike. And then Gabriel Nassif picked up the deck for yesterday's Modern Challenge and top 4'd the event. And I think that this deck is the real deal. It's incredibly good at grinding. It's incredibly good at beating any fair matchup. And then in the unfair matchups, you have very specific tutor targets in your sideboard to tutor for post board. You know, in your 80 card decks, your sideboard cards are not as powerful as they would be in a 60 card deck because you're going to see them less often. So it makes sense to me to have your sideboard be mostly focused on Chord of Calling targets. So we have Yixlid Jailer and Loaming Shaman for the dredge matchups. Notably, I don't have any black lands in the deck, and this is a black spell, but we do have Arcum's Astrolabe and Birds of Paradise if we draw it, but for the most part, we're just trying to Chord of Calling and get the Jailer into play. And the Jailer is the most effective 2-mana creature to Chord of Calling for against Dredge. And Loaming Shaman is pretty nice as well because it has an enter the battlefield effect that we can use over and over again with Soulherder and Ephemerate and Restoration Angel. Playing a Thragtusk for Jund and Burn, Aven Mindcensor mostly for Primeval Titan decks, but you bring it in some other matchups. Eidolon of Rhetoric for Storm and Neoform and, ad nauseum decks, Storm style combo decks. Magus of the Moon for Tron decks and Titan decks mostly. Deputy of Detention for problematic permanents. Forge-Tender is mostly for the burn matchup. It's really nice to have a really good card to Chord of Calling for 1 to protect your creature. I like the Forge-Tender a lot. Lavinia, Azorius Renegade is mostly for the Neoform matchup. Having a 2-mana creature to Chord of Calling for is way better than a 3-mana one in Eidolon of Rhetoric. Although I could see this coming in against some Tron decks and potentially Lurrus decks that are playing both Force of Negation and Mishra's Bauble, but I'm not sure on that yet. Also playing a Collector Ouphe for the more artifact-focused Urza strategies. And you might notice one weird thing here, is that we're playing 4 Path in the sideboard. Usually Path to Exile is a card that sees either main deck play or no play at all, but I've really liked having Path in the sideboard. There's a surprising amount of matchups in Modern where you really don't want to have access to Path to Exile. A lot of big mana decks, a lot of combo decks. And I found that I've preferred to main deck Avalanche Riders instead. Being able to have a card like Avalanche Riders in your main deck that gives you a huge edge against Soulherder's problem matchups. Soulherder has always been soft to big mana decks. So main decking 4 Riders and an Acidic Slime to blow up your opponent's lands and continue to blow up their lands over and over again by flickering these effects gives you a big edge in those big mana matchups and the control matchups. And then Whenever I find that I want Path to Exile, those are usually matchups where I don't want Avalanche Riders. So whenever I bring this card in, I usually make a clean 4-for-4 swap. And notably, the two cards do not play very well together. It's not great to be giving your opponent's lands and blowing them up with Riders. So I think that you want to play one or the other. Right now, I like Avalanche Riders in the main and Path in the side. Maybe the format changes where you want Path in the main and Riders in the side. But I've liked this plan so far. But that's the deck. Let's go ahead and jump into some games. Again, I'll be streaming this a bunch over on twitch.tv/aspiringspike. I'll be playing more brews, but right now this is the deck I'm excited about and passionate about. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into a league. So we are on the play for round 1. Choose Yorion as my companion. I'm going to keep calling that commander for a long time, I'm sure. Our opponent's playing with Lurrus. This is most likely going to be either Burn, Jund, or the new Grixis Delver deck that won the challenge. And I think that, especially with this Night of Autumn, I'm feeling good if this is Burn. And I don't feel too bad against Delver either. Looks like it is probably going to be that Grixis Delver deck. And I'm excited to test the matchup. I'm also excited to play the Delver deck. It looks really good. Hit a Restoration Angel off this Coiling Oracle. Probably just going to Eternal Witness back Windswept Heath next turn. We'll see what our opponent does and what we draw, of course. The second copy of Breeding Pool. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and cast a Witness, make sure that we can continue to hit our land drops. It's also always nice to have Witness in play for whenever you draw the Ephemerate. Start doing some pretty powerful things. Our opponent can start drawing 2 cards a turn with Lurrus and their Mishra's Bauble if they want to. And that would be pretty good if they get that going. If they do that, I'm probably going to main phase Restoration Angel just to make sure it resolves. Good blocker for Lurrus, and also get to flicker the Coiling Oracle. I will say that even if they're drawing 2 cards a turn, it's going to be difficult to outgrind our deck, at least in my experience. Our deck is pretty difficult to outgrind. I'm just going to main phase this Restoration Angel so it can't get countered. The body is pretty good, big, although they do have Fatal Push that can kill the resto. We hit a Misty Rainforest. We'll be sacking that at the end of our opponent's turn. And I'm pretty interested in resolving this Yorion. If you have a Restoration Angel and a Yorion in play, you get a Yorion trigger on your turn and your opponent's turn every single turn until they can deal with it, which is pretty powerful. However, I don't think we're going to be casting the Yorion into 4 open mana. Why don't we just start off by casting a Coiling Oracle and see what our opponent does. Looks like they decided to do nothing. See, maybe we can bait out a counterspell with the second copy of Eternal Witness, getting back the first copy. Mana Leak. Notably, if we could have played around Mana Leak by casting the Witness first. Maybe that was better. Gonna get in for 3. I guess we are kind of running low on cards. If our opponent has a hard counterspell for Yorion, it's gonna be tough to win if we continue to draw just a bunch of lands. We are also, you know, just a Chord of Calling away from grabbing a Kiki-Jiki. Sprite Dragon, one of the cards I think that people are most excited about in the new set. 2 mana 1/1 Flying Haste, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you put a counter on it. Lots of synergy with the, you know, recursion of Mishra's Bauble too. They decide not to get in with the Sprite Dragon. That makes me think that they're going to try to block the Restoration Angel. I'm going to cast Yorion before I cast the Knight of Autumn to play around Mana Leak. If this resolves, I think we're in good shape, but if it gets countered, I think we're not. Yep, officially not in good shape this game, I think. Opponent way ahead on cards right now. I think I'm just going to gain 4. We have no more gas. Opponent has grinded us out right now. Maybe this Grixis Delver deck is just the truth. I'm excited to play with it for sure. I haven't played with it myself yet. Yeah, Mistress Bauble Lyris, really powerful combination. No attacks. Chord of Calling and have our opponent have no Snapcaster, no Archmage Charm. Well, Soulherder certainly is a start, assuming my opponent has nothing, but it's going to be very difficult for my opponent to have nothing. Yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and just pack it up and go to game 2. Don't want the video to be 2 hours. Alright, so I do think I'd like to have Thragtusk instead of... Or sorry, Path to Exile instead of Avalanche Riders. I do also want this Thragtusk, I think. Now, do I want Lavinia to stop Mishra's Bauble and Force of Negation? I think the answer is going to be no, but I'm not 100% sure. I might reevaluate. Wall of Blossoms blocks Luris, but it doesn't block Delver very well. I think we can trim a copy of that. I think the Slime is also probably getting cut. Like we're bringing in another 5-drop. So we could play the Lavinia, we could play a Deputy of Detention as well. I think I like Deputy of Detention. And with that, let's go to game 2. Okay, they reveal Luris. I reveal Yorion. And we are off to the races. I'm going to lead on Temple Garden. Not 100% sure what I want to get with this Windswept Heath. It's going to depend pretty heavily on if this Birds of Paradise survives turn 1 or not. Well, looks like it'll survive, but we're going to need to path the Grim Lavamancer on our opponent's upkeep, probably. We don't want to do it on after they can play a land and sacrifice a fetch land, because we can't respond to that. It is more important, in my opinion, to resolve Ice-Fang than it is to resolve Wall of Blossoms. So I'll go ahead and resolve the Ice-Fang, and then path the Lavamancer on my opponent's upkeep. Always really stinks to have to path your opponent's 1-mana spell, but here we are. Cast the Wall of Blossoms. I guess maybe we should have sided out this Knight of Autumn, actually. I usually do side it out in matchups like this, though that was a little bit of an oversight. I'm going to cast the second Ice-Fang instead of the Noble Hierarch this turn. I kind of want to get basic Forest to do so. And then, you know, that way our Ice-Fangs will have Death Touch. But the problem with that is if our Birds of Paradise dies, we're pretty restricted on what colors we have access to. So we'll see what they do with their mana here. Yeah, they're gonna go ahead and try to kill the birds. So, and let's be a little more conservative and grab a breeding pool and then cast our Ice-Fang. We are only 1 snow permanent away from Death Touch, anyways. And these, you know, cantrip creatures very good with Chord of Calling. Very good with Chord of Calling. Opponent does not have double black for Lurrus this turn. Probably just holding up some counter magic. So let's go ahead and go Wall of Blossoms. Noble Hierarch. And hold up Chord for 3. And if our opponent like casts Archmage's Charm to draw 2 cards here, I'll Chord for 3, probably getting Eternal Witness. Just to get the Chord back. Always really nice to have Witness in play with this deck. They can have Force of Negation here, but it looks like they do not. Yeah, Witness looks like the card to take here. Having Witness in play not only makes this Chord of Calling pretty good, but it also makes Yorion a lot stronger. So next turn, if we cast Yorion, we can Chord for 2. If we could Chord for 4, we could Chord for Venser and protect the Yorion from a counterspell. Looks like that's not really in the cards. Ephemerate is quite nice. I think I would like to attack here. Let me go ahead and attack with my Eternal Witness. Because there's like, this attacks for 3 here with the Noble Hierarch, and I kind of would like for them to point a removal spell at it. Really nice also to just be able to play all at instant speed here. So we're going to pressure our opponent's counterspells most likely at the end of their turn, depending on what happens here. And then untap and cast Yorion is my game plan, assuming we can, exhaust our opponent's resources. Right, Snapcaster Mage, probably targeting Drown in the Lock. Targeting Opt, well, I'll respond to the Opt, I think, by just Chording for 4. I think I'd like to get the a Restoration Angel. Seems like having the Chord just in your hand gives you so many options, and this does, of course, give us the option to try to Kiki combo next turn, but that's not something we have to do. We can just, we get the 3/4 in play. We get the Chord back. We can Ephemerate and get back Path to Exile if we want. Do we want to Ephemerate right now? I kind of think I do. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna Ephemerate the Eternal Witness. I guess we should have targeted the Restoration Angel to play around Lightning Bolts, but we won anyways. How do I like our sideboard plan? This feels pretty good so far. Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep it like this and kind of get a feel for sideboarding in this matchup. This is my first time playing against this deck, so not saying this is how I like it 100%, but it feels fine right now. We do have a good hand here. It's nice that we can get a forest and still have all of our colors of mana. I do. One thing I don't like about this hand is how likely this Birds of Paradise is going to die, but there's a lot I like about this hand. I like the path for the Lurrus too. I think that's going to be valuable. Could have maybe used Prismatic Vista instead of Misty here. Don't think it's likely going to matter a ton. Yeah, the Birds of Paradise felt pretty likely to me to die. Now, they have like a turn 2 Sprite Dragon. They do. Certainly not out of control, and also I am pretty interested in trading Ice-Fang for the Sprite Dragon. I could have maybe main phased this Ice-Fang. In fact, I kind of think we should have. Although I think my opponent's going to cast Lurrus this turn, start drawing 2 cards a turn effectively. So it's not like they can counter the Sprite, the Ice-Fang. So we can, next turn, just probably main phase Path Lurrus, because we really need to get that off the field. And then we'll have Death Touch available for our Ice-Fang. By getting the basic planes. And then I think I want to incentivize my opponent to kill the Ice-Fang on their turn before they attack, and then maybe we can flash in the second Ice-Fang and block. Oh, they have Force of Negation? That's really bad for us. It's really bad for us. Jeez. Yeah, maybe we were supposed to path on our opponent's upkeep just to make them use mana. Now they just get to, you know, draw 2 cards a turn. Like, it's not looking good for us at all anymore. Yeah, they are going to Snapcaster Fatal Push the Ice-Fang. Sorry about that sound. There's a ball that I'm, like, kind of playing with my dog off screen here, and it's deflating. And maybe they play around Ice-Fang. I kind of think that they will. No, they're not playing around it. Awesome. Let me kill Lurrus. I think Lurrus is just so dang good. And then we could like main phase Venser, bounce Sprite Dragon, and reset the counters. We do take a lot of damage to do so, I suppose. Notably, our opponent also missed their land drop that turn, so they have at least 3 spells in their hand. And we might have to trade Venser for Snapcaster. We'll see what happens. Having to fetch and shock there certainly hurts, but the mana in this deck is far from perfect. So if we take 3... Yeah, I think I'm going to take 3. I'm pretty interested in having Venser to blink off of the Resto. And they shouldn't be able to counter the Resto if we just cast it now. So I think I like casting it and bouncing the Sprite Dragon. I guess we could have attacked with the Venser first. And then next turn we have Eternal Witness or E-Witness for... Or sorry, we have Thragtusk or Eternal Witness for Ice-Fang. I imagine our opponent's going to probably replay their Sprite Dragon. We get a counter off of it, and we have a blocker for now at least. We can also, if they tap low, can just cast Yorion. Kind of interested in that. Not very interested in going to 3 if I can avoid it. They did have a bolt there. Interesting. Well, it seems like a good time to resolve this Thragtusk. See Athena. I'll take her out in between rounds, and hopefully she won't be too distracting going forward, as cute as she is. Which is very cute. And yeah, I think I'm not attacking with the Restoration Angel. We're certainly, you know, the control matchup right now. We're trying to drag the game out as long as we can, because I think we win this long game. Would love for my opponent to replay this Sprite Dragon so we can resolve Yorion. Awesome. Yeah, they should not be able to counter it. I guess they could theoretically have Mystical Dispute, but it doesn't feel incredibly likely. I think I will attack with this Thragtusk. How lucky are we to draw maybe something else to flicker? That's probably asking for a little too much. Yeah, might as well attack with the Resto too. It goes down to 8. Alright, so we're going to flicker both of these, of course. Too cute. Too cute to handle? No, She wants to go outside. Glad that this is a recording and not a Twitch stream. So you usually want to flicker your Yorion, I think, with Restoration Angel, and I'm going to go ahead and exile again Thragtusk and Restoration Angel. So we'll at the very least get another Thragtusk trigger on their instep. Seems like this is going to be a lot for my opponent to have to fight through here. It's certainly going to involve making their Sprite Dragon gigantic. But we're going to gain 5 more life on our opponent's end of turn, potentially 10. We have 2 3/3s and a Yorion in play. Yeah, I think we can just take this hit. Really doubt our opponent can deal 14 this turn. Although theoretically possible, I think it's good to just take that hit. Yeah. Alright, that was match 1. I'm going to take Athena outside and we'll be back for match number 2. Alright, we're on the play for round 2, playing against another Lurrus deck. You know, the Lurrus Grixis Delver deck just won the Modern Challenge last night, so could be playing the same matchup again. Could also be Jund, could also be Burn, or could be something else. We'll see. This card is going to go in a lot of Modern decks. Okay. Kind of hope it's Jund so we can, you know, get a better feel for the field. Looks like it's Burn, and of course a hand with a Knight of Autumn in it is going to be pretty good against Burn. Yeah, let's play Ice-Fang instead of the second Astrolabe. Now the real question is going to be, are we going to wait on this Knight of Autumn until we have Ephemerate up to cast it? The answer is, of course, maybe. It's going to depend on what our opponent does. And I think playing Knight of Autumn, I'm a little more inclined to just play the Eidolon on the Destroy and Enchantment mode and blow it up, especially now that we've drawn another life gain spell in Charming Prince. Pretty lucky, honestly. Just 80 card deck, draw your one of life gain cards. I did take Athena out in between rounds. But now she is asking to play fetch, so we will oblige, of course. How could you not? How could you not? Lurrus buying back that Eidolon, certainly potentially a powerful thing. Looks like they might be Searing Blazing the Knight. Yep. Now I would love to be able to have Ephemerate up for this Charming Prince, so we'll need to play this Arcum's Astrolabe to do that. Gain 3 life. Now if our opponent cracks that fetch land, I'll respond to the crack by casting Ephemerate on Charming Prince, but until that happens, I don't see a huge rush to need to do so. They also might just tap out for Lurrus and we can Ephemerate the Charming Prince then. And they decide not to crack the Wooded Foothills. They are doing it now. They did not get a Sacred Foundry for Lurrus though. Now, do they have a bolt for the Charming Prince? Looks like they do not. So we get to gain 3. We still take 3 from the Searing Blaze because it has 2 targets. Oh, no, opponent. You should have certainly bolted in response to the Ephemerate. That was a mistake, to say the least. So we're at 12. They have 1 card in their hand. We get to Ephemerate the Ice-Fang. Maybe we just draw a land and we get to just cast Yorion. Eternal Witness for one of these guys would be nice. Avalanche Riders is also pretty nice here. Let's go ahead and blow up the Sunbaked Canyon and the Fiery Islet, stopping them from being able to like dig for more burn spells, and we also cut them off of one of their white sources for Lurrus. Pretty good draw, if I do say so myself. And then next turn we get to upkeep, Ephemerate the Avalanche Riders again. And then we get to Yorion flicker Avalanche Riders and blow up 2 more of our opponent's lands if they don't use a burn spell on the Riders. And their resources are pretty taxed. They only have 2 cards in their hand, so it's not incredibly likely that they're able to have a burn spell to throw at the Riders. Alright, super nice to win game 1 because we do have some good sideboard cards to bring in. This is another Path to Exile matchup, so we'll be bringing that in favor of the Avalanche Riders. I think I'm not in for Venser in this matchup. I could also see cutting 1 Soulherder. I think the Slime is okay because it blows up Eidolon, but maybe it's something you want to cut. It is 5 mana. I think I'd rather cut a Soulherder. Pretty vulnerable to their burn spells. Can be awkward if you draw multiple copies. Kind of a weird hand against burn. I think it's one that I'm going to keep. Just like a fine hand. Like, I know we don't have any life gain effects, which maybe means we should mulligan, but we are an 80 card deck. We can't always have one. And I do like that our mana base isn't super painful here because we have the Astrolabe. There's Chord of Calling to potentially find a life gain spell. Assuming the bird doesn't die, I imagine we're just going to play the Witness to attempt to block this Goblin Guide. It's pretty hard to take 6 damage off a Goblin Guide and win a game. I will say that I imagine our opponents is favored in game 2, or the game that they're on to play, the sideboard game that is. And then I think it's probably close-ish to even game 1, and then we're favored on the play for game 3. I would imagine overall the matchup is close. We might need to get a little lucky, like top deck another Night of Autumn in order to win this game. We'd also like maybe just chord for Forge-Tender and only chords for Forge-Tender on turn 4, and then go into a turn 5 Thragtusk. I imagine our opponent can infer that we're holding up Ice-Fang here. I imagine they can figure that out. It's not impossible that we just die here. They didn't have a bolt. Or if they have a bolt, they're holding it. This Goblin Guide's been pretty nice to us, giving us a lot of lands. We get to block, which is a little surprising, certainly nice. Oh, we didn't have Death Touch, so I guess that's why we got to block, huh? Should have grabbed a snow-covered land to give Death Touch. Certainly seems like our opponent is, or was considering firing off some burn there. Okay, so we're gonna hold up chord for 1 for a Burrenton Forge-Tender. They didn't cast any burn on our instep. I think that's a good sign. I think that's a pretty good sign. Looks like they're flooding out a little bit. That's kind of, I mean, I feel like if they're flooding out, they should have maybe sacked the Sunbait Canyon. That could have been a misclick. I'm going to chord it in response to the Goblin Guide trigger because it's so bad for us if they reveal the Forge-Tender to the Goblin Guide. Just so bad. No really any upside to letting the Goblin Guide trigger happen. If they have 8 points of burn in their hand, we're dead. It has to be 2 Boros Charms or 3 burn spells, though. So not super likely with the fact that they cast no burn spells on our instep. Okay, Skullcrack does stop Forge-Tender from being able to block effectively. Okay. They did have enough burn in their hand. Game 3. I think I'm going to make no changes. Yeah. Maybe that last hand was a mulligan. Kind of not sure. This hand's kind of close. I like this hand a lot if we can just draw a land in the top 2. And even if we miss, we have another Astrolabe to like have it be in the top 3. I'm going to hope to get a little bit lucky and keep this. Again, like another good thing about this hand is that it is pretty painless having Arcum's Astrolabes. And just one land lets us play a wall and block their creatures, which, yeah, there we go. So again, got a little lucky, but we will take it. We take those. Nice to have the Wall of Blossoms and the Oracle to go with the Chord of Calling. Grim Lavamancer, however, is certainly a scary one here. Why don't we go ahead and play Coiling Oracle, though, if we're not going to need to necessarily be blocking with Wall of Blossoms this turn. And if we hit a land, we can play the second Astrolabe. Did not hit a land, that's fine. Next turn we can go like Hierarch plus Wall if we want to. I'm pretty okay if they spend like a mana to kill my Coiling Oracle with Grim Lavamancer. Or if they just Lightning Bolt the Grim Lavamancer. Shouldn't they have bolted my face and then Lavamancered the Oracle? I guess if they're going to attack, then no. But that's very fine with me, I think. Not too worried about that at all. Playing Wall of Blossoms. Now, do I want to play a Hierarch to just bolt, to bait 2 points of damage effectively? Or do I just want to play Arcum's Astrolabe? I think I like playing the Hierarch to either make my opponent tap their Lavamancer or get Rift Bolted. I think that's something I'm pretty content doing. Next turn we could Chord for a Charming Prince if we wanted to. They go ahead and Rift Bolt me. Suspend a second copy of Rift Bolt and Lava Spike my face. Okay. So they're going to try to ignore my board here and just try to burn me out instead. So why don't we go ahead and Chord for 3 to get a Knight of Autumn, which is the most life we can gain this turn. And then our opponent's probably going to have to kill the Knight of Autumn, but we get to gain 4. As opposed to gaining 3 off of the Charming Prince, which we also could have Chorded for. And they have kind of a hard decision whether or not to kill the knight or deal 2 damage to us. They decide to deal 2 damage to us, which is interesting. I wonder if that means they have a Skullcrack in their hand that they can just play around as flickering the Knight of Autumn, or they just can respond to the Knight of Autumn being flickered with the Lavamancer. I guess the latter is a little more likely, huh? We've got 2 cards in their hand. They have a Lavamancer activation. I don't think there are any combination of cards that kill us this turn, but there's a lot that kill us over the course of 2 turns. Oh, Lightning Bolt, Boros Charm plus Lavamancer does. Wow. Golly, that was really bad for us. Well, I don't think there's anything else we could have done. We'll take the L and be back for round number 3. Well, we did take an L last round, but at least we won all of our die rolls, which is something I'll take. A 3rd Lurrus deck in a row. Wow. When I was streaming on Thursday and Friday, which are my first 2 days playing the set, there weren't this many companion decks, but I think people are just now getting their hands on them. They even have the Lurrus avatar. So we played against, Grixis Lurrus. We played against Burn with Lurrus. What's it going to be this time? Jund or one of the other 2? Or something else. Boggles plays it. I think Verdant Catacombs probably means Jund, and Jund is a matchup that I felt really, really good against playing Yorion so far. I've really, really liked the matchup. Would love for this Birds of Paradise to survive. Alas. We draw. If we draw another 1-drop, I'll play Astrolabe in 1-drop, but if we don't, I'll just play the Ice-Fang. That is a 1-drop, but not one we can play this turn. Probably fetching up Hallowed Fountain with this Windswept Heath. Another thing I found is playing 80 cards makes it way easier to play 4 colors. When you're playing 4 colors and 60 cards, it can be kind of hard to find room to play all the fetch lands and shock lands that you want to. Like I wasn't playing the Hallowed Fountain or a basic mountain because I felt like I didn't want to draw them necessarily all that often. But now I feel like it's pretty easy to find room for both of those. And we've also can add 4 Prismatic Vista, which are pretty good too. There certainly wasn't room for Vista in a 60 card version, I think, because you just needed to be fetching. You need to have all these fetches and all these shocks and basics, and then there just wasn't room for Vista, in my opinion, in addition to that. Yeah, pretty clearly a good choice to take the Eternal Witness there. I do like having this Venser. I'm scared of Lurrus next turn, just starting to draw 2 cards. Looks like our opponent's considering killing the Ice-Fang now, because they know about the Ephemerate that's in our hand. And so we had, I think, a pretty clear read that they have a 1-mana removal spell in their hand. Which like lines up pretty nicely with our hand, where we can just play Birds of Paradise and still hold up the Ephemerate. And if they want to use a removal spell, they get 2 for 1. Getting the mountain here, so if we draw Kiki-Jiki, it's going to be easier to cast. Also, again, very nice to draw the Eternal Witness. Just so good with Ephemerate in these matchups. Yeah, opponent, if you were going to bolt this Ice-Fang, you needed to cast it on your turn, especially if you knew about this Ephemerate. Now, if they cast Lurrus, we get to draw another card off of Ice-Fang. And then what? Maybe if they cast Lurrus, I'll, in response to the Mishra's, in response to the Ephemerate rebound, I'll cast Venser, bounce Lurrus, and then bounce a land. Sounds pretty good. Venser has really impressed me. The card has been very good, and I don't find myself citing it out very often. You go ahead and get Stomping Ground. I always say grounds. Not always. I didn't that time, but I feel like I usually say Stomping Grounds, but just 1 ground. Could be a Kolaghan's Command too. That would be way better for them. They go with Lurrus, as expected. Lurrus Mishra's Bauble, boy, does this seem like a good place to start. Just like this card in your sideboard, 4 of these, and then other modern cards. Cheap 1-for-1s mostly. Not sure what this pause could mean, besides like them maybe wanting to play a second Mishra's Bauble. I don't know why they wouldn't want to if they had one here. Alright, so in response to this rebound and Bauble trigger, I'll just go ahead and Venser the Lurrus. And then Flicker Venser targeting the Stomping Ground. And if they just want to replay Lurrus, then we get to Yorion or Eternal Witness Ephemerate, both of which would be pretty strong. And Avalanche Riders also goes pretty well with, you know, the land bounce plan here. Like that draw a lot. Got a lot of options next turn. All of them seem really good. Especially if our opponent, if all they do is replay Lurrus, I'm feeling really good here. Tarmogoyf and hold up a 1-mana spell. Interesting. Okay, Nile Spellbomb makes me not want to go for Eternal Witness on Ephemerate this turn. So we can cast Kiki-Jiki, notably if we do, we cannot copy Venser because Venser is a legendary creature. I think I'm just going to cast my commander, Yorion. Seems really good to flicker Venser, Ice-Fang, and Astrolabe. We're also going to flicker the Birds of Paradise. You always want to tap your mana dorks for Yorion, if you can, because you want them to be untapped from the Yorion trigger in case you draw Chord of Calling off of one of these cantrips. Although we can only chord for one, just a good habit to get into. Get to draw 2 cards and bounce the Tarmogoyf and get the 4/5 flyer. Pretty good against Jund. Jund usually not very good against card advantage, but Lurrus helps a little bit. I will say that losing Liliana and Bloodbraid Elf is a pretty big cost. However, you do kind of get to play Dark Confidant again for the first time in a while, because Dark Confidant is pretty good with Lurrus having your CMC be pretty low. I think we're gonna get this game though. The Nile Spellbomb is good though, stopping us from being able to get this Ephemerate back. Well, that resolves. I guess I'm discarding Eternal Witness because of the Spellbomb. I kind of want all of the other cards. Love to find a Restoration Angel, not only because we have the Kiki, just because I think it would be very good here. All right, so we can play Avalanche Riders and Coiling Oracle. Might as well Coiling Oracle first, just in case we draw. Like I would probably just Restoration Angel Yorion if I draw exactly that. Could also draw Chord of Calling. Oh boy, we did. So we cast Avalanche Riders. We can then chord for 3 and get Soulherder, flickering Yorion. Seems really good. Oh wait, hold on. We can only chord for... We actually can't chord because we don't have 3 green creatures untapped after we cast the Riders. So I think I just want to attack with Yorion and then chord for Restoration Angel. Restoration Angel plus Yorion is so much value. You're about to see it in action, but boy does it just win these grindy matchups by itself. Like, you don't need Kiki-Jiki. You just get all of you get your Yorion trigger on your turn and your opponent's turn every turn until your opponent can break it up. Yeah, the Chord of Callings fit really, really nicely into this deck. It was super fun to brew up. It was super fun to play. Still is very fun to play. Would really recommend it to anybody. Well, I guess you won't get to see how much value it is because our opponent already knows. I think on our opponent being on like the Lurrus version of Jund, their curve is lower, so they're going to struggle against land destruction less. They also probably are playing more Wrenn and 6, maybe like the full 4. I guess that's only one more than regular Jund usually plays, but just Land destruction, I think, is going to be a little worse against them. I do usually like the Forge-Tender against Jund. I do usually like to cut a couple of Hierarchs against them. And usually the first Chord of Calling, too. Maybe we leave it in. I don't know. Nah, I guess we could maybe play one Avalanche Riders. Card is very fun, and sometimes you do want a chord for it. I'll just leave in the full 4 chords. And let's go to game 2. I think that this is a hand that's fine to keep against Jund. Does seem kind of close, but I usually don't like mulliganing against the deck with 8 discard spells. I think these versions are playing the full 8, and both Ice-Fang and Eternal Witness are quite good. I know we are a land-heavy hand, but you know, usually mulliganing against discard spells is inadvisable. If our opponent has a second discard spell, they'll take the Ice-Fang. If they take, or maybe they'll take Witness anyways, because they can still take the Ice-Fang on turn 2. But Witness seemed like the more likely take, 100%. It is nice to have a path for Lurrus. Hopefully they don't draw a Mishra's Bauble and they can't get a 2-for-1 off of the Lurrus the turn they play it. Even if they do, it won't be the end of the world. One card we don't want to see here is Wrenn 6. Wrenn 6 is very good against us, and I think while I have been beating up on Jund, the main way I found myself losing the Jund matchup is to Wrenn 6 pinging our 1 toughness creatures. Can't cast it this turn without a Manamorphose though. Kroxa is fine. I haven't been incredibly impressed with Kroxa. I have played a decent amount of Jund myself lately, and Kroxa's good in the deck. It's fine. It gets a lot worse without Liliana of the Veil, though. I will say that. For the most part, I think you just want to discard this card to Liliana of the Veil. And just, you know, this is not worth 2 mana in Modern. Making your opponent discard a card and maybe lose 3 life. There's just so much stuff you could be doing more efficiently on turn 2. So while I do think Kroxa goes in their deck, I think it is worse in this deck than it is in the regular Jund. And I don't think being able to cast it with Lurrus is also all that good. It's fine. It's not nothing, but I'm just not that impressed by it. If my opponent casts Lurrus, I'm going to want to get a Hallowed Fountain, and then that way I can play Ice-Fang and have Path plus Ephemerate up next turn. I guess I'm still getting Hallowed Fountain, but I'm actually just not gonna cast Ice-Fang. I think I'd like the ability to Ephemerate it, and my opponent is very clearly holding up removal here. Because they could cast Lurrus, but I think they'd rather hold up like Kolaghan's Command is what I'm reading. If they play a fetch land, they can escape Kroxa. We do have a Path to Exile to answer that, though. If they make me discard a card with Kolaghan's Command, I'll be pretty thrilled, I think, and I'll probably just discard the Prismatic Vista. Tapping red mana, I'm certainly frightened of Wrenn 6. Maybe they're thinking they could have escaped Kroxa and we're wrong about that. Alright, so I don't want to path this Dark Confidant right now. Or we could, but we don't want to path it and not have Ephemerate up for Ice-Fang, I think. So I'm just going to play the Ice-Fang, and if they cast a removal spell, I'll Ephemerate. And if not, I'll just untap, and then we can path it before they get a Dark Confidant trigger. Ideally, they cast it now, so we don't have to, so we can get to use the mana. Oh man, I keep forgetting to side out Knight of Autumn in these matchups. I don't know. I've been remembering to do it on stream at least, but not for this video. Sorry about that, I guess. Opponent is definitely holding up removal. I think we can infer it from that one turn. I think I'm just gonna pass here. I think that they will cast a removal spell on this Ice-Fang, and I'm interested in keeping it around, and I'm interested in getting a 2-for-1, maybe a 3-for-1 if this if the rebound resolves on the Ephemerate. Yeah, they're certainly thinking about casting a removal spell here. They could also sack Peatland if they wanted to. They decide not to. We might get to the point where we can Yorion with Ephemerate up. That would be pretty strong. Second copy of Dark Confidant is good here, but feels pretty beatable, even though it's dealing less damage on average. I'm not, you know, incredibly afraid of it. Double red and a black for Kolaghan's Command. Plague Engineer, maybe? Pillage on Stomping Ground. That's okay. I'm going to Ephemerate my Ice-Fang now, I think. Just get my 1 mana draw 2. And we're going to do it with the green mana floating in case we draw another copy of Ice-Fang. Forge-Tender is not too bad either. I think I'm just going to get a Stomping Ground again so my mana is solid once again. Yeah, 2 Stomping Grounds, opponent. Next we get Knight of Autumn plus Forge-Tender. Guess we want the Knight of Autumn to be a 4/3 to block Dark Confidant, although we could also gain life and then make it a 4/3 after we cast Yorion. Could also end up drawing something like Eternal Witness here that makes us want to do something totally different. Coiling Oracle is interesting. I guess it is a little better to have like more cantrip effects when we cast the Yorion, and I kind of want to cast it next turn. Is more mana efficient though to play Knight plus Forge-Tender. Let's play Knight plus Forge-Tender. I think I'm going to gain 4. I think if they want to trade, we can trade, but I think I like gaining 4 because we have the Yorion to flicker. This does feel like a race situation too. Notably, the Forge-Tender blocks the Kroxa pretty well if they don't have like a Fatal Push for it. I don't know how I feel about siding in the pillages. I guess it makes sense on the play. Yeah, I think I'm in for it on the play. Opponent reveals a Fatal Push to the Dark Confidant, which is very good for them. Very, very good. So they have Lurrus, Fatal Push, Kroxa, and 3 cards we don't know about. Is one of them a Renin 6? That's really bad, although maybe it's another Pillage. Just trying to keep us off of Yorion. I'm kind of okay with it, and we just have a bunch of lands in our hand, and sure, we can't cast it next turn, but I think this is fine for us. Does look like a pillage here. Although maybe they've mistapped for like Kroxa. Or maybe they're just changing their mind about the spell they wanted to cast this turn being pillage. Now they're tapping Jund colors. Kolaghan's Command to deal 2 damage to Knight of Autumn and make us discard a card. So we can save the Knight of Autumn if we sack the Forge-Tender. The Forge-Tender is good at blocking the Kroxa. I'm gonna do it, I think, though. We'll discard the Heath because I kind of want to get an island with the Vista. I'm gonna push the Ice-Fang now, maybe. Oh, that was a freebie. They did not have Revolt, and I guess they just thought they did. Alright, well, they shame conceded, and we will take that W and go on to match number 4. A 4 for 4 on die rolls, which is a really good spot to be with this deck. Keeping this for sure. We are off to a great start. I think that I would like to get a basic forest with this Wooded Foothills. Play my bop and pass. Playing against a non-Lurrus deck for the first time this league, although boy is Lava Dart good against us. Lava Dart is really good against us. I think I'm just gonna get, I guess I'll get Hallowed Fountain. I know it is kind of hard to shock in this matchup, but we need all of our colors. I have wanted to test this matchup. This mono red prowess deck has not been incredibly popular on Magic Online lately. I have not played against it yet. I do like having the Wall of Blossoms. Do also like having access to Restoration Angel. Hopefully we can draw a land either off the Oracle or off of our draw step. We missed off of the Oracle, which is not great. Kiln Fiend is also not great. Not going to chump, I'm just going to block with the wall. I think I'm getting Sacred Foundry with this Wooded Foothills. I know we do have 2 Ice-Fangs in our hand that want Death Touch pretty badly. What's this? Bolt for the wall? Sure. Does that change things? Kind of, I guess. The thing is, if we need red off this Wooded Foothills, and if we get Mountain, we can't cast double Ice-Fang next turn. So I'm just going to get, I guess, Sacred Foundry. Oh, this is a weird time to Lava Dart. You know what, why don't we just get Snow-Covered Forest, actually? Alright, I'm gonna see if we draw a blue fetch land off of this Ice-Fang. Drew the 3rd Ice-Fang. Well, they'll give Death Touch to each other, but if they can kill either copy, then they won't have Death Touch. They definitely have some burn here. What if we just block and then, like, fetch up a Snow-Covered Mountain or Snow-Covered Forest? Seems better to me than, like, fetch shocking, grabbing a Breeding Pool, and then having them burn one of our Ice-Fangs, and then we're, like, our Ice-Fangs can't even threaten to trade here. Oh wow, it just worked. And also, if it just works, I think it's certainly not bad for us. And then we drew a blue fetch, so now we can get a Snow-Covered Island and play 2 Ice-Fangs that both have Death Touch. If our opponent top decked Lava Dart, this is bad for us, but if not, I think we're in excellent shape. They did draw a Lava Spike. Can that beat Aspiring Spike? We'll see. Don't hate drawing that. Not at all. Would kind of like to just draw a white fetch land and get basic plains and play Charming Prince and then flicker it with Resto next turn. We go to 4. So we played Charming Prince and Shock. We have Chord for 2 up. I don't really want to Shock though. When you Chord for 2, I guess we could just Chord for the 4th Ice-Fang. Yeah, I guess this is fine. We're going up to 7. So Shocking is I guess we're dead to, like, you know, 2 burn spells anyways. Then we can, like, Restoration Angel the Charming Prince and gain some more life. And the presence of Ice-Fang really makes the need for Path to Exile a lot less necessary, as we've seen this game. I know it is kind of lucky to draw 3 on your 80 card deck, but you see a lot of your cards with playing this deck. You have a lot of cantrips, and the 80 card restriction, I think, is super fitting for the way we built the deck. It's just not that big of a downside. Alright, please no Lava Dart. We do again, die to Lava Dart. Lava Dart is very good against us. So maybe we could take Wall of Blossom so we don't die to Lava Dart. That actually sounds way better to me. Why die when you could not die, right? So we could Resto or Yorion. If we Resto, we have Chord for 3 up. Oh, sorry, Chord for 2. I don't really want to Shock. Or we could just Yorion. I guess I want to Resto and just Chord for Kiki potentially next turn. Certainly interested in gaining 3 more life here. Maybe we Chord, maybe we don't. Probably leaning towards no right now. I think I'm going to Chord on my upkeep so we can't draw the Kiki and not be able to cast it. Leaving Wall of Blossoms and Resto to block. They can, you know, buy a turn, or, you know, they can not make us. They can survive if they have a bolt for the Kiki, but we're probably still winning anyways. Okay, another Path to Exile matchup. I would think that the big mana decks would be a little more popular against all of the just like the mid-range companion strategies. Maybe not. You're gonna board out the Slime, I think. Definitely boarding out the Riders. Might board out Kiki-Jiki. Seems kind of fragile. Do you want Loaming Shaman? Kinda. Lavinia also counters the flashback of Lava Dart. It's probably a little too cute. Alright, not feeling great about our chances on the draw. We'll see what happens. Could also see Eidolon of Rhetoric, although Eidolon hurts us a lot too. I think you usually want Eidolon to basically just win you the game when you Chord for it. I'm gonna keep this. I think Wall of Blossoms is pretty good in this matchup, and I like that we have 2. Wall of Blossoms is also pretty good with Chord of Calling. And this hand is not fragile to Lava Dart, which is kind of rare for our deck, I think. Opponent's mulligan to 6, which I can't complain too much about, I think. I think Prowess is a deck that doesn't mulligan as well as a lot of the decks in Modern do. With the London mulligan, I think it needs a density of you know, creatures and spells and lands, and yeah, the London mulligan certainly helps you find a combination of those, but does not mulligan nearly as well as something like Tron or Dredge. Well, triple Swift Spear is certainly very powerful. You go and get Hallowed Fountain here. Yeah, triple Swift Spear is really scary. We'll see how many spells they London mulliganed into. We did not bring in the Deputy, and I don't usually like Deputy in these matchups, just so fragile. Yeah, triple Swift Spear Manamorphose could be dead this turn. That bodes kind of well for us, I think. They stomp the wall, so we can't block. We're going to take... Or, oh yeah, we can block, I guess. I think I'm going to take 9 and then flicker the wall with the Soulherder to reset it. Opponent also notably has no cards in their hand. So if they just hit brick off of their draw step and their Sunbaked Canyon, we could still pull this game out, I think. Get another forest, I think, with the fetch. Damn it. Sorry, obviously shouldn't have got the forest because now we can't. Soulherder, huge punt, my bad. Oopsie doopsie. Did our opponent draw? Nothing. They drew a Wild Slash, which we were dead to anyways, but I'm sorry about the misplay. I try to play tight, especially on these YouTube recordings, but I feel like I say this every video, but it feels like I play worse recording than I do streaming. Not that I am flawless streaming by any means. Alright, game 3. Alright, on the play, game 3, Yorion, yada yada. I'm keeping this hand. Keeping this hand. I think I want to get a Plains off the Heath. No, we'll get a forest. Plains just, like, sometimes you, like, need double white to, like, multiple Ephemerate, but I think that this is fine. Like, we're going to need green a little bit earlier. I don't mind drawing Thragtusk. I would like to draw another fetch land or a basic to have a death-touching Ice-Fang on turn 2. I think that would go a long way. If not, we could just cast the Ice-Fang and it won't be bad. Maybe. Opponent also kept 7. I'm going to play Hierarch and tapped Breeding Pool. We could shock to hold up Ephemerate for the Hierarch, but I think I'm just okay if they bolt or dart it here. It is a dart, which is better for them than a bolt, but again, I think it's just fine. We'll be okay. Kiln Fiend is scary, although I would love to draw a fetch land here. That's an interesting one. I mean, it's a good draw. It's, you know, certainly a very good draw, this Path to Exile. Just always have to answer the Kiln Fiend. And I think they're going to Lava Dart or Ice-Fang, depending on how much, you know, how much they can pump their Kiln Fiend. Because they're going to be tapped out when they attack with the Kiln Fiend. They're going to float mana, but they can't bring this mana with them into the combat step. So we get to cast the Ice-Fang, and if they want to hit with the Ice-Fang, they have to dart it. If they don't dart it, I guess we're pathing anyways. They're letting us chump block. Yeah, I guess I'm just pathing. Because next turn the Ice-Fang is going to have Death Touch. We're also get to Eternal Witness back this Path to Exile for the Steamkin or the Soulscar Mage. Probably the Steamkin. I drew another Ice-Fang. Pretty good. Yeah, Eternal Witness plus Path to Exile, quite a combo. But boy, this Lava Dart is good against us. One nice thing about this matchup is they don't have any ways to protect their creatures, you know? Like, you kind of always know your Path to Exile is going to resolve. I suppose we should... Yeah, let me actually path this Steamkin now. They need to cast 2 spells in response to be able to get mana off the Steamkin. Maybe we should have just pathed before, because we knew we were going to path the Steamkin anyways. I think this was a mistake. Yeah. It's at least good to do this before the Swift Spear comes down, but look, it looks like they're going to be able to Lava Dart the Eternal Witness and then get value out of their Steamkin and make 3 mana. Which is dangerous with 2 prowess creatures. So potentially, yeah, I mean, it was just another mistake here. I think we should have just responded to that first prowess trigger. But they may have been able to, I guess maybe upkeep Path to Steamkin was the best time to do it. Sounds about right. Okay, so they have 1 card left in their hand. It's a Soulscar Mage. They have nothing in their graveyard to trigger prowess. We're taking 7 down to 9. So we're casting that. It's a pretty good draw. Let's see. And I mean, they have a Fiery Islet, which is, you know, of course, really good in their deck, and we could certainly die this turn, depending on how kind the top of their library is to them. I'm definitely blocking if they attack with everything. Looks like they didn't find anything. Yeah, let's flip this Huntmaster and then have Ephemerate and Ice-Fang up rather than playing the Thragtusk. Gonna kill this Kiln Fiend. The Killed Fiend. Alright, casting Ice-Fang. Oh, they're casting whatever spell they drew right now, it seems. Because I don't think they had a spell in their hand last turn. Or if it was a spell. I don't know what spell they could have drawn off the Islet. Because they drew 2 cards last turn. Swift Spear was one of them. It's Lava Dart. Oh, that's so bad for us. See if they use the second dart now, because they could have waited till blocks to use the dart. So now we can Ephemerate the Ice-Fang. Still get the block out of it. I don't think they have another spell in their hand. Maybe they'll play something and we'll be like, oh, they could have that. But I don't think that they do. I think their last card is a land. Okay, don't have a white mana up for that path. So I'm not going to chump with the Huntmaster. The Huntmaster is going to flip next turn. I also want to flip the Huntmaster and then Ephemerate it and get 2 wolves. So we'll just block like this. And I don't think they have a spell in their hand. It doesn't make sense for them to have a spell. It would have to be like Blood Moon. So we're going to stack the triggers to where the Huntmaster flips before we target it with Ephemerate. And we also get this pesky -1/-1 counter off, which is pretty nice. We can't Soulherder and hold up Path, so I think I'm just gonna slam the Tusk and pass. Could also Yorion, but I think I like Thragtusk this turn. Maybe Yorion next turn, we'll see. Braid is a good draw for them, killing the Huntmaster, although they don't really have good attacks. Pretty nice for us for them to not have good attacks. Now, do I want a Soulherder or do I want a Yorion? I think I want a Soulherder. It's nice to have the Soulherder in play when you cast the Yorion, because then you get to flicker Yorion and get more triggers. And then the Soulherder obviously becomes huge. I'm pretty content if they triple block. I'll path one of the blockers and win the game on the spot. Yeah, Thragtusk is really, really good. I was playing 2 copies in the 60 card version, but we're playing like a second 5-drop in third 5-drop in Kiki-Jiki. And we also have the Acidic Slime, so I think just the 1 in the sideboard is fine. But I think it's a card that I've liked a lot in the deck so far. It's a pretty good draw for our opponent. I could maybe get them back into this, but I kind of think it's too late. We'll find out. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. This board is always terrifying to see. We have a path. We have Yorion. I think we'll be okay. The real question is, are we going to attack with our Thragtusk? I think the answer is yes. Just like with the path, we can potentially blow out their blocks pretty well. We do have to win the game at some point too. Our opponent agrees that they cannot block. It's Yorion time. So we're going to flicker the bird, the Thragtusk, the Astrolabe. Get 2 triggers on Soulherder. Get a beast, and we're going to gain 5 life on our instep, and then we're going to flicker the Yorion again. Drawing off Astrolabe, gaining 5 life, up to 23. And then I think we're going to flicker, and I think I'm going to exile the Thragtusk and the bird again. It's going to grow our Soulherder really big. And we're going to gain, we get another beast token to block with, and we gain 5 life and draw a card on our opponent's instep. And also the Thragtusk can't be killed, which is pretty nice. Soulherder is gigantic. It's gonna it can get 1 more counter when we path something here. But our opponent did, just draw 3 cards, and they've got 5 prowess creatures. They could chain some stuff together and maybe win. I like this attack. I think it's good. We just put a wolf token because I think, I don't know, maybe that's a little too conservative. Kind of just don't want to block with Yorion. They can't cast Crash Through. I'll put the wolf in front of the other Soulscar Mage. I think this is fine. I think they're going to die on the backswing. Kozilek's Return. Wow. So these are gonna die because they have 2 damage on them. This is also gonna die. This is gonna die, and our Soulherder is not gonna die. Okay, this is fine. But pretty cool for sure. I guess we could have pathed the Reveler. Doesn't really matter. Okay, we're 3-1. Be back for round 5. We lost the die roll for match 5. First lost die roll of the league. Opponent has a companion of their own, Gigantho the Wellspring. This is either going to be 5-color Niv-Mizzet, I think, or potentially just mono green Tron. I think that those are the 2 decks that this slots into. Would much rather play against Niv, I think. In mono green Tron, this is really just like a 5-mana 5/5 that's always in your hand. Oh, well, okay. Humans. Shifting gears, I guess. I've liked my humans matchup. Just trying to figure this out. Trying to think if humans loses any cards by playing this. I guess Auriok Champion is like the only thing I can think of. Which isn't a huge loss, but I mean, it's a 5-mana 5/5 that isn't a human. Is that even worth losing a sideboard slot? This is the first time I've seen a companion in someone's deck and actually genuinely thought that it's probably not worth it to have the companion. I would love to be proven wrong, though. Would love to be proven wrong. Looks like my opponent is about to cast a Mantis Rider, which is probably what we're going to need to block with this Ice-Fang. Although the champ is getting pretty big. I'm going to get a second forest here. So we go Wall of Blossoms plus Noble Hierarch this turn. Hopefully they can't play 2 humans. Let's get Island and filter into green with Astrolabe. They tapped green, which probably means they have Noble Hierarch unless it was a mistap, and Noble Hierarch means they can play 2 humans, so we're probably going to have to chump block this turn, which is not really where I wanted to be with this Wall of Omens. Yeah, this is tough. This is tough. So we're going to take 4 down to 5. I think we need to keep this Hierarch in play. We play Coiling Oracle. We can rattle off a couple of lands. There's a land, so we Oracle Charming Prince, gain 3. Shock. Block, block, maybe triple block, and then we have a chord for 2 for like another Ice-Fang available. Doesn't seem great or even good. We actually we don't even have a chord for 2 available. I'm going to play Wall of Blossoms that can maybe block this champ, but then we're going to chump. And I suppose, you know, figuring out a way to like just keep chump blocking and then chord for the Kiki combo is maybe how we win this game. Notably, they sacked the Horizon Canopy. I guess they can still cast Jagantha. Just a 5-mana 5/5. They decided to Meddling Mage instead. Are they going to name Yorion? Yorion, sorry. All these goofy names are blending together in my brain. They do name Yorion, which wasn't even all that good here. They have another creature. If it's another human, we just... It's the new lord, it looks like. And now we're on the triple chump block plan. I guess we'll keep playing. Doesn't seem super likely we can get out of this, though. Oh, maybe we like can play Coiling Oracle and Chord of Calling for Huntmaster. We'll see if we can figure it out. If we had a copy of there's a 1/4 that makes it where your opponents can't attack, we could chord for that, and we could have chorded for that and maybe gotten out of this. As is, let's just go to game 2. Another Path to Exile matchup. I will say though that it really feels like in order to beat the big mana matchups, like you have to main deck the Riders, because I feel like you're still like not even that favored against them, even with the main deck 4 Riders, and so if they're only in your sideboard, it's just going to be even harder to win. At least that's my thinking about it. Another Thragtusk matchup. I think I like the Venser, like bounce Meddling Mage. I think I want to cut the Knight of Autumn. I don't really like trying to fight my opponent's Aether Vials in this matchup. Yeah, I'm not that about it. And with that, let's go to game 2. Okay, so we are on the play for game 2. I'm keeping this. Seems a little weak, but you know, we have Astrolabe, we have Path, like Restoration Angel. I think is excellent even without something to flicker in this matchup. It usually just is a 4-mana card that kills a creature and is hard for them to get through after that. And our deck is full of good things to flicker, and if we just draw any of them, the Resto even gets value when we cast it. So no Vial on turn 1. They're going to lead on Hierarch instead. Not going to path that. Well, there's a Kiki-Jiki to go with our Restoration Angel. Sometimes you just have this draw where, you know, you just have the ability to maybe combo off. It looks like a turn 2 Mantis Rider, which I will path and then fetch up a Sacred Foundry. Need some red mana for this Kiki-Jiki. Yeah, I'll certainly play this Eternal Witness this turn. Let me go ahead and get a... Maybe we could have played the Temple Garden, but let me go ahead and get a Stomping Ground so we do have all that red mana for the Kiki. And I'm going to grab Path to Exile. But still has 6 cards in their hand, and we did ramp them with Path. Looks like they might be playing a Kitesail Freebooter, which can grab either Chord of Calling or Path to Exile, but almost more importantly, now they know what our plan is. So if they have Meddling Mage, they can name Restoration Angel and then make this Kiki a lot worse. And, you know, make the Restoration Angel blank effectively. They do not. They do have a Phantasmal Image to get the Chord of Calling. I'm pretty happy about this because it means we get to resolve Restoration Angel. We could like main phase the Restoration Angel to like make sure they don't like kill the Witness in response, but like not that likely out of humans, and then that plays into Reflector Mage a little too much. Kind of interesting. If we play the Snow-Covered Forest, they know our exact hand, but it's not like they're not going to play around us just having Restoration Angel this turn anyways, so I'm going to play this because it doesn't cost us life. And they need a way to disrupt our combo here. You know, if we just don't play into Reflector Mage, it's going to be very difficult for them to stop us without exactly Dismember or Meddling Mage. So if they attack with just a Kitesail Freebooter here, I guess they've already played their... Oh, so they haven't played their land. So if they attack with a Kitesail Freebooter, we can maybe infer that they're just trying to bait us into running into Reflector Mage if they go like land Reflector Mage. Because it's not like the Kitesail Freebooter attacks through this Restoration Angel successfully. Oh, it does. It has 3 Exalted triggers. Well, we're not going to flash in and chump. So they need Meddling Mage or Dismember, or they just lose. And they should know that they just lose, so we'll see what they have. They didn't have Meddling Mage last turn, or if they did, they chose pretty poorly to cast their Freebooter instead. Yeah, it looks like maybe they just chose poorly. Well, when they name Kiki-Jiki, we do get to just Yorion, which will be nice. Well, I guess we are drawing cards with Astrolabe, but not as many cards as Yorion usually draws, I guess. Yeah, they name Kiki. Yorion time. Oh, let's attack with the Witness, or sorry, the Resto. And I probably am going to flicker the Yorion with the Restoration Angel on my instep, but I'll go ahead and draw a card with Astrolabe just to see if there's like a card I would draw that would make me want to just hold up the Resto as a blocker instead. I'm not going to flicker the Eternal Witness, I don't think. Yeah, actually, I think that is a card that's going to make me not want to flicker the Restoration Angel with Yorion's ability, because we can just, if we want to keep this chain rolling next turn, we can with this Soulrider, or Soulherder rather, so it doesn't seem like to me that I think I want to just have as much blockers this turn as I can, because we just have so much card advantage in our hand. We also get to draw another card on their instep with that Arcum's Astrolabe, which is pretty nice. If we draw a Path to Exile, we can just path the Meddling Mage and win. Looks like my opponent is going to cast their Companion, which is not something I'm scared of at all. It's a 5 mana 5/5. You can attack for 8. It's not really doing all that much. The Soulherder is going to get bigger, maybe even this turn. That is a good one. That can let a Kitesail Freebooter attack through the Yorion. That is actually a pretty relevant spell here. I think we just have to take it this turn. Another Path to Exile off the top wins. Chord of Calling for Deputy is pretty good. Ice-Fang is pretty good. We have lots of good draws, and we get to see a lot of cards too. Kind of slow to the attack. No attack, that just seems wrong. I guess, oh, that's actually fair. If they attack, we just get to double block, and yeah, I guess actually no attacks is fine there. I think that I do want to use the Astrolabe to cast the Soulherder because we're going to be exiling the Astrolabe anyways. And I'm like pretty fine, I think, if they double block my Resto. I should have attacked first, of course. I should have attacked first. Wait. Oh no, I'm sorry. I got so zeroed in. I didn't even realize that we drew the path to exile and could just win by exiling the Meddling Mage. My bad. They're clearly pretty bad. I guess we actually want these two creatures in play to chump block. I don't know how I missed that. I even just said it over and over again. Oopsie doopsie. That's a good draw for our opponent. The last card is Reflector Mage. Are we dead? I don't think we're dead. I think we're going to win anyways. I think we're going to be able to path something, path the Meddling Mage, block, take 8, and then Kiki rest of them next turn. Block. Oh. Yeah, take 8. Okay, so another mistake. Another never punished for any mistake I've ever made. It's a normal day for Aspiring Spike. They know about this, Kiki, and we got him. Alright, they're going to make me click through it, which I am happy to do. Not going to take very long at all. They're at 10. Alright, go into game 3. Okay, game 3 is going to be the most difficult on the draw, I think. The most difficult game of the match. Their deck is a little more, you know, they benefit more from sideboarding than we do, and we're gonna have to get a little bit lucky to win this one, I think. But I guess I haven't hated this matchup so far. And our hand is pretty strong, I think. We'll see what happens. Well, it's pretty good for us. I am pretty interested in casting Hierarch this turn. But I think I'd rather Coiling Oracle, see if we hit a land, and then if we don't, we just... I think I'd rather Coiling Oracle and Astrolabe, and if we hit a land, cast Hierarch, and if not, you know, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, so like, not that we would have known this, but if we had Astrolabe before Oracle, we would have hit a land for Hierarch, but it's random. You don't know when, you know, what the top of your library is going to be. It's always kind of funny. Like, there are certainly times where something random like that will happen, and you're like, well, if I just done it this way, I would have won this game. But I didn't do it that way, so I lose. Magic is certainly a game with like a lot of variance, and you know, learning how to control it and live with it is very important. Probably casting Meddling Mage here. Oh, funny, they didn't reveal their companion. So does that mean that they forgot to, or does that mean that they sided in a card that breaks their companion requirement? Not going to block into the Aether Vial on 2. But it is weird that they would not cast their creature pre-combat. Because it seems like they wanted to. Venser is interesting. I think I just want to cast Soulherder and Noble Hierarch though this turn. Keep developing my board a little bit. There's really not that much they can do to break this up. I guess, you know what? Dismember breaks their companion's requirement, but surely they would have boarded that in for game 2 if they had access to it. You'd think, at least. If they have Meddling Mage, now that we've revealed Chord of Calling, I bet that's what gets named, which is kind of bad because we wanted to like set up for, you know, Kiki Resto combo. Not that this hand can't easily win without that, I suppose. What did our opponent keep? This is seems like a really bad start for them, honestly. Did they mulligan? No, they kept 7. They do have Meddling Mage. I imagine they named Chord of Calling. I guess it makes some sense to get the second champ in play. I kind of would have liked to have like Meddling Mage naming Chord and then Meddling Mage naming Yorion. So I probably would have liked to see Image go on Meddling Mage and not champ. Mantis Rider is very good. Could double block the Image. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to take 10. So we can Thragtusk, Flicker Thragtusk. We'll have 4 creatures in play for Chord of Calling. It's not the best number of creatures in play. We gain 10 life though. We get 2 blockers. Seems fine. I think I will Chord for like a bird, if I can. And Thragtusk is so good in this deck. Card I really liked in Standard. I'm glad I get to play it in constructed formats again. You just gain 10 life, pretty good. If they cast Meddling Mage, I'm not gonna have no blockers available in order to cast Chord of Calling. And of course they name Chord of Calling, no surprise there. Man, a second rider is pretty good. Do we have to lose our Thragtusk? I really don't want to. Yeah, I think I'm just going to chump both of these and keep my Thragtusk around. It's not like we need them to convoke anymore because Chord of Calling is named. Probably just gonna like play Wall of Blossoms, Restoration Angel, Thragtusk, Flicker, Restoration Angel, Thragtusk, the Soulherder to be really big. Just gain 10 more life. Have a 3/4 blocker for these Mantis Riders. Get 2 more 3/3 blockers. Seems incredibly good. Get the Soulherder up to 6/6. Notably, you know, the chords and the Yorion are all named, and We don't have I guess we can unlock Chord of Calling or Yorion with Venser, so we'll be okay. Seems really good. Put us down to 1 card in their hand, and they don't have their companion revealed. Not that they could cast it anyways. Yeah, I don't think I'm in for playing the 5/5. I don't think it's good in humans. It's it's better as a 3/5 mana 5/5 in Tron, where a 5 mana 5/5 is just like sometimes you just have 5 mana laying around and it's not that big a deal. Interesting. They target the Soulherder. Kind of expected them to go after... I guess Resto, we can just cast it on their turn. They need Thalia's Lieutenant pretty badly here to be able to have their Mantis Riders attack through the Resto. Instead, they may Phantasmal Image, Reflector Mage, and bounce the Resto. They're kind of doing it. Do we want to lose our Thragtusk? I really don't want to. I think we just chump again. We can maybe like Venser the Meddling Mage on Chord of Calling, and then Chord for Deputy on the champs. So if we Venser, we have Chord for 3 up. Alternatively, we could just hold up Resto on their turn. If we hold up Resto on their turn, and then we Venser, can we Venser for Kiki and win? We'll have 6 creatures in play, theoretically, if we go like block here. Flicker, gain 5 up to 19. Don't think they're going to like bake an Alpha Strike. And then we'll have 6 creatures in play, 7 with Venser, 6 mana, minus 4 for Venser, 2 plus 6 plus 7 creatures is, yeah. Yeah, so let's hold up Resto. They have no cards in their hand too. We'd also Venser if anything goes too terribly wrong. I think it'll be fine. And they know about this Restoration Angel, so I think they're going to make kind of a scared attack. If I did my math right, we also can chump with 1 creature and still Venser and Chord for Kiki next turn. I'll probably double count before or after they attack. And they know about this Resto, and they're still making this attack, which is kind of scary. What does that mean? Okay, so if we chump here, Resto Thragtusk, we get a beast token. We'll have Resto, 2 beasts, Thragtusk, Noble Hierarch, Venser, 2 lands. So yeah, that should be enough. So let me just go ahead and make the obvious blocks. I mean, maybe they had I guess they could have found the 3 mana Lord here. 3 mana Lord would be really bad for us. How many of that card could they even be playing? Like 2? So what if we just chump 3 mana Lord for 8, or 8 plus 6, 14. Yeah, I guess we can play around it. If they found another, I guess it's not the Lord. I mean, we still can go for it here. I'm gonna go for it. They have to have exactly Reflector Mage, I think, or like, land Meddling Mage or something. I kind of think they don't have the Lord. They would have put the Lord into play, I think. Because they can't activate the Lord's ability with Ancient Ziggurat either. This is certainly exciting. Certainly exciting. We're all in on this. If they have Reflector Mage, we lose. As the one card we don't know about. Guess they don't have it. Cool. All right, we went 4-1 in that league. I think did a pretty good job showcasing of like what other people are doing in Modern and what this deck is doing. I really like this deck a lot. I'll probably play it tomorrow, Monday, April 20th on twitch.tv/aspiringspike. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button. You can find me over on Twitter. I'll have the text post for this deck down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.